Okay, I started, removed it, because I don't know, something showed up on my screens. Okay, so we're back. I did a show yesterday covering this, your time spent in the Philippines and, expected behavior and respect and all that stuff, but there's other element in a lot of my shows I talked about, and everybody and their grandmother talked about, the so-called cost of living and blah, 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 and all that. And, do you really have enough money while you're out here for an emergency or anything else? Well, another part of it. Uh, okay, even if you're just renting, that's a problem too. But if you own a house and we're known to have storms. In fact, right now, I guess there's a bad weather system going to Surigao. One family, 8 miles from home, God, they already had a hurricane on themselves, a typhoon on themselves once before. And I don't know if they just built a house or something. I don't know. I forgot. I don't. But now they're going to be facing another. So maybe the thing is not to live in a region that has so many typhoons. Like, for example, Luzon is known for every kind of weather madness you could think of there. I mean, mudslides, typhoons. There's always something in Luzon. Why is it always Luzon? It's always Surigao is another place historically, and I guess there's a typhoon going on over there and all that. But who is benefiting from that? But we're not going to go into that. Yeah, hello, good morning, William. Um, but kind of choose where you live too, because say you own a house, so your roof gets blown off. Okay, well, who's going to pay for that? There's no house insurance out here, nothing I know of. Not, let me know if there is. That's going to be your responsibility to put a roof. Where are you going to go from there? Do you have any money left over from buying a house? Do you have anything? Where are you going to go? Do you know a family that'll put you? It's something really to think about because it's a real situation out here with typhoons. And maybe you're just renting. Well, you figure, well, okay, the roof blew off. The landlord's going to put us up somewhere so she can repair the place. Don't bank on that. That may not be the case. Probably not. You're on your own. And does the landlord have the money to put a new roof on right away? Where are you going to stay? In the meanwhile, do you got money to stay at a hotel somewhere that'll take your animals if you have animals or whatever? I mean, there's a whole lot to think about when you're going to live out here, whether you're renting or whether I mean, as far as maintenance, there's always something going on at the house here. Mold starting to form under the eaves. I have to you probably scrub off or something. There's things that break down. Okay, my gutters got filled, 4 inches of crap. I had to clean them out. Something breaks down. It could be electrical, could be plumbing, could be. Do you have the funds? That's a good question because some people just buy the property, this and that, and then they don't have any money left over for anything else that might come up. So that's kind of, in a way, I know I depict the Philippines as the wild, wild west. Well, it's not west, but the wild, wild east. Okay, and in many, I mean, besides the friendly faces you see out here, there's a lot that goes. There's jealousy in Filipinos with foreigners. That maybe they got money, they don't. You're able to afford things that they can't afford, and it sometimes there is a. Oh, don't think there isn't. You may not verbally hear it, or you may hear it from somebody else, or you may experience some people make an assumption. You remember, and I keep on bringing this up because it's true. It's true. I was going to buy that car, and I even, played the tape on there, the recording. This guy was going to sell me a car I wanted and had the money for it and everything. But, trying to negotiate a price, and he comes up with a lame statement like, well, you're a cono. You could afford, in other words, why should I give you a break on the price? Look what your dollar gets to the peso, which, and it's this kind of stuff. There is a certain kind of resentment that goes on in here. Now, if you are a foreigner, you're like automatically figured, well, you got money. And most of the foreigners don't have money to move out here. They may pretend that they're living this grand life, but in fact, or they make X amount of money per month. Nobody does that out here, do they? But chances are, though you wear that silly grin the moment you come into view, Johnny Mathis, in case you wondering where I came from, chances are that they're not. It just sounds good, like saying the word salsa. Something about saying salsa. People like to say salsa. They like to order salsa because it sounds. It's not a Seinfeld show here, but that's an excerpt from Seinfeld. Okay, which I use a lot on here. I like Seinfeld. A pretty decorated cake. Now, you may sound like I'm trying to discourage people from moving out here. It's not that I'm trying to discourage people. I'm trying to educate people. From my experience and what I hear, seen, or from people who were born here, and the Philippines could be a great place to live, and I think it is still. But there are too many variables, and you got to ask yourself: am I open to these variables? Am I, open to surprises? That could happen. And you may not do anything wrong, but maybe there's somebody out there that are jealous of the way you're living. You got a nice big house, and I don't know. Maybe you're going to hire him for it. Just hasn't happened, but it could happen. That maybe you're going to hire him for a job, and you decided I don't want him anymore. They were all built up on thinking they were getting a job, working on your house or whatever. That didn't happen to me, although I have hired people to work on the house. But, if you gave the bid to somebody else, there's always some Filipinos that'll be really resentful. They got a family, they got to feed, and you decided, no, I don't want your services. Well, that could happen. It didn't happen to me, but it could happen. There's little things like that you're not. Here, the wild, wild East, it is so in many ways. It's not a place that you have, developing country, and there is a lot of, let's say there's a lot of poor people that would like, some of them get desperate and decide to rob your house. Let me tell you, I told you guys already, but lucky it was some kids, but the first place I lived out here, remember I told you I was robbed? Now, me and my girlfriend, we were just watching TV in the other room. Because of my hearing, it might have been a little louder. So I don't know what the hell was going on in the other room. No idea. Well, apparently they tried to break into the living room window that was too tight to get in. Another room I don't use in the back of the house, less obvious to be seen. And they removed the level of glass louvers. Anyway, jealousy glass on there. And this is what we were home. They knew. How could you? So they came in, and stupid me, I had a pair of shorts laying on a kitchen chair, which coincidentally had my wallet in it, about 13,000 pesos. Wow, easy money. And they proceeded to go into they took frozen foods, even ice cream. Oh, they treated themselves to ice. Oh, yeah. They even took a bottle of fucking mayonnaise, if you can believe that. Mayonnaise. Then something on the barbed wire fence to the back door. I just had a pair of my shorts, that one they took the wallet out of, and it was smoldering. What? Because while I was in the room, this was going on, I smelled, that smell of cotton that's burning. I didn't think nothing. Then I go in the other room, and I'm glad. And I looked at the living room window. I seen somebody try to break it in. And I said, well, they looked at the back room window and all the glass. I said, shit, we was just robbed. It turned out that they were kids. Well, one was 18, so he was legal age. And the others were under, there were 3 others. They came in and they helped them. Now, here's the problem. They had just ripped off another guy in that area of a collectible knife collection. Oh, great, right? A knife collection. They could have used that on us. Now, their presence in the house, that guilt. What would they have done? Would they have ran away? Would they have done? Okay, what if she was not dressed? She comes out half naked or something. What would they do? Would they rape her? I mean, this shit happens. You have a house. Even that house looked kind of a nice house. It looked good because when you live in the most foreigners who could afford an area that's what do we call them? Subdivisions, okay, subdivisions, because a lot of Filipinos that are poor, they can't afford to pay like 15 to 30,000 pesos a month. So if you're living in these certain subdivisions, the house is there and they all go for X amount of money. That people that can afford to pay. That's how they'll choose their house. They went to several people to lift them off. There were 3 or 4 people. Anyway, the cops did find them. And mother was on her knees begging. We all came. All the victims came. All the victims came to police. The kids that robbed, and I guess the one that was 18 was going to, probably jail time or something on there. But according to whether we wanted to do that or not, and most everybody in there wanted to put them away. And, we all did, actually. The mother was on her knees begging for forgiveness for her son. Please don't have arrest. Well, these were like underage kids, most of them. So nothing much really happened to them, And I approached the kids right in front of the police. Effing come near that house again. Because I don't care what age they were. Don't ever try to come in a house again and rob my house. I put the fear of Frank in them. And police let me say what I had to say. They didn't say, okay, Mr. It could have been some older folks, but there was an 18-year-old there. What if he did probably have a knife from his, I could have been knifed. Gilda could have been knifed. I mean, it's a serious situation, but this goes on out here. Being a foreign out here, it means, in their eyes, maybe lots of it. There's people who observe you. You have appliances coming to your house, new appliances. They figure you got money. People are very observant out here. Even people you may know that are so-called friends of yours, they know, these people got money. They just ordered a brand new refrigerator. They got new furniture. They got this or that. They're observant of that. Don't think that. So when a family gets desperate enough or people get desperate enough, they may rob your house. And unfortunately, you may be a victim of crime in there yourself. You may wind up getting shot or stabbed or something. So you got to have some security measures. I think that's really, really important. Okay, now am I scaring you about moving to the Philippines? I'm not trying to do that. And Cebu is a better place to live compared to Hawaii. Is Cebu? As far as crime, no, but there's a lot of crime in Hawaii because you got a hell of a lot in Hawaii. It's pretty scary. Even at night, drugs are prevalent. I mean, it's just crazy. Yeah. For that, I would never go back to live in Hawaii. I've had my so-called Hawaii experience of 14 years. So I've seeing the beauty, going to beautiful places. The ocean is absolutely beautiful. I like the ocean there just because they're not, I don't know, there's real waves around there, like here, maybe Surigao get a little bit, or I don't know where else, but Surigao. But it just was different in a different way. And the weather was a little better there for the most part. And just a beautiful place. Very spiritual, if you believe in being spiritual, not necessarily really was. But overall, it was just a lot of drug addicts and thieves. All the scum from the mainland was moving to Hawaii, and and they'd congregate in certain areas like Pahoa town and so forth. They were all alike. I mean, they were all stoners and shit that came to Hawaii. There was more stoners per square meter in Hawaii than anywhere, really. Just all stoners. They want to go out here and grow pot, and then they get into other drugs to sell, and they were all hitting the pipe, and they were just ripping people off left and right. So that's the long form answer to that. Yeah, it's better here. It's better here. Not that shit doesn't go on out here, but that's my best answer for that. I mean, had my fill of the land of a low. I didn't see a lot manufactured, perhaps, but no, I didn't really. But 14 years, It was good enough, you know. You can't say it was all bad out there. It wasn't all. A lot of tranquil moments. I had a bigger yard to grow things, all kinds of trees and plants, fruit trees, and 2 acres. Yeah, there was a lot to do every day. If you didn't know what to do for that day, there was always something to do on the property. You know, limbs had to be trimmed or something, bushes had to be trimmed. Might be a little fruit on a couple of trees you need to get off, or try to get up there, find a way to get up there to reach them. Grass had to be mowed. A lot of weed eating had to be done all the time on the little hills I had that was growing a lot of stuff. It was constant work. Then in front of the house, had to mow that. And near the entryway, had to clear a lot of stuff out of there. Then the palm leaves in the driveway, the palm fronds, they had to take the dead ones off or trim the ones that were coming over the driveway all the time. I had to pull weeds out of the driveway. We had a gravel driveway. So yeah, I was kept occupied quite a bit in here. And I realized that there's not like this, you know, large amount of activity to do here according to your age and your capability and all that shit. But you live in a small island province, and there's really not much to do here except go to the beach, go for a hike in the beaches, or go out to eat like we did yesterday. We went out to eat over at Marlin's near the water, which is very nice. I had a video on that yesterday. You've probably seen that. Some excerpt in there, Um, other than that, if you want to travel in the Philippines, you got that opportunity to travel, and we're going to head somewhere, plan it out. And one of the reasons, to be quite honest with you, why I don't do a lot of travel doesn't have to do with money. It just has to do in part my back. I got to sit around on a long ride somewhere, and how many times you got to transfer to another type of transportation, and blah 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 blah. If it's not with the hot ass weather going on too when you're traveling, it exhausts me a lot. That's why people say, "Well, Frank doesn't go anywhere; he doesn't travel all over the Philippines." I don't know. Is it a rule that I'm supposed to travel all over the Philippines? I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a prerequisite of living here. I think that's just a voluntary thing that you do. Sure, I wouldn't mind seeing different places in the Philippines, but I said this once before. I'm not really sure where I want to go. You're just saying they all look alike. Well, I don't know. The towns out here all look alike. Seriously, you know, unless it has some geological feature that's really interesting. I, you know, that would pique my interest. But a beach is a beach. No, I got one right here. I did that too. Walking on the beach yesterday, I had that on camera. I mean, they're really. So, what do retired people really do? Oh, come on. You think they're all out partying every day? Do you really think that? Nah, man. You're doing what I do. Unless you got chores, unless you got a project to do, or you're going to travel somewhere, then you're home doing things around the house. Or you're watching movies on TV in your air conditioned room. That's what they do. That's just a reality. You can't pinpoint that on me. Oh, Frank, don't do anything, don't go any places. No, that's just a reality of most foreigners out here. Okay. If you're a younger age, you're a backpacker, your mission, the church is sponsoring your trip here. You got a daddy that's supporting you, and you're traveling all around the world and stuff. You're in that position. That's different. You're there to explore the world. Daddy's paying for it, or maybe your viewers are paying for it. If you're that lucky to have a channel that makes that kind of money, good for you. I mean, really, kudos. But not all of us. I'll travel when I choose to. That's it. When I find an interesting place, and we're still contemplating that right now. In fact, will come some decision today where we want to go, where we haven't been. We want to travel together, make memories. That's what you should do. And I want to do that. Sometimes I get lazy and say, I don't know. It's too hot or too something. I mean, you make a lame excuse. That's what it really is. I'll be honest about it. It's just that, I mean, I'm not like I'm a cripple with my back or anything like that. I'm not. But, when I'm sitting around in a bad position for a long time, yeah, my life becomes very uncomfortable. When I got different forms of transportation, I'm sitting there for a long time. And It's just not. That's why. There's your answer. I mean, that's one of the answers. Why I'm not like world traveled. Paul. Who's on here? Paul who? Anyway, but there's no prerequisite of moving here that, hey man, as soon as you hit the ground, I'm on my next planning to Surigao or Bacolod or Boracay. I mean, you got the money to do that all the time? Bless you, my child, But, not everybody does. And not everybody wants to has that disposable money for that. There's some people that are bank rich, but emergency money, medical stuff like that, and don't want to. Now, if I want to dig in, I'm not rich, but if I wanted, I could be traveling all over the Philippines with good hotels, accommodations, good food, blah blah blah, activities paid for. I could do all that shit. But when the money's gone, it's gone. Where are you going to make money? You can't work. So maybe you understand me a little bit better now. Why I'm not like doing shows from all different places in the Philippines, here and there, and up here and down there, and east of Java or something. It has to do with economics. Well, I don't see his comments, so it's not bothering me. Okay. You're my moderator now. How's that? Get rid of him, Chutters. You're not my moderator. Anybody's making any lame comments that I can't see. Well, I don't know what you can do on your end as far as moderator. Okay. I don't believe really in moderators on here. My channel ain't that big. I gotta, that's. Did you? All right, Chades. All right. Let me know when another creep comes on here. Mr. Ken Unger. Paul's an angry, frustrated man. Apparently so. I always hear his bad comments on people's shows about me or anybody. The angry one, we call it. The angry one. There's a lot of anger. What I try to do on my shows, I try to bring you reality to the Philippines. And I talk about the good and the bad on here, okay? And, of course, I'm living out here a fairly long time. I could talk about this. I'm not like a guy that's just moved in from California, living in fucking Boracay, who's an expert on the Philippines and the culture, expert on women when he's never had a girlfriend out here, who has not experienced the good or the bad out here in a way that maybe I did. I've had fucking people break into my fucking house, because of a dangerous situation. I've seen the ugly. This man has no business putting on a show. He's because he has 22,000 subs that are all a bunch of shorts that go to people's channels that are women, and you know what they're doing. He's got these losers. The only people that subscribe to his show is a bunch of losers that are adhering to his advice. Because you can't come here and say you're an expert if they're only living here. Expert? Shit, I said it again. I'm here over seven, whatever. I'm not an expert in this country. I don't pretend to be. I've experienced good and bad out here, but I'm far from being an expert here. I don't claim ever to be. But this, and talk about the high life he lived in California. We had another guy like that on here now. We have another guy that's just like him in a way. He needs attention. And eventually he's going to get his ass kicked by somebody. Both of them. Did you hear that breathing? No, I didn't. And that's hearsay. And I'm not going to buy that. It'll eventually. Yeah. Sooner the better. We don't need these creeps out here, man. Imagine this guy goes around stalking everybody. I mean, gets his girlfriend pregnant and he's hanging around in go-go bars. I don't know, man. I don't get it. Then he's going to come down on me and make lame. Guy I invited into my house reluctantly, treated him nice, and then I don't know what's wrong with this guy, but I don't want to be around people like that. And really, neither did anybody else. I don't, who's one of that brief? Well, you came on my show with hearsay. Okay, so Granville, I'm just going to put you on. I won't remove you. I mean, well, he's not exactly retired, okay? Supposedly he has a house in California that has about 6 months worth of mortgage payments to make on it, and it'll be all his, that he's renting it out. So when that happens, he's going to sell the house and have money that he should be able to live in for the rest of his life in the Philippines. Well, what someone says does not necessarily mean it. No, he's not retired. Retarded, maybe, but so he says. So he says, if somebody said to you, if you jump off this building, you're going to live a beautiful eternal life and riches, or you're going to be rewarded, and you're not going to get smashed like a tomato off, I mean, if somebody tells you to jump off a building, you're going to jump off a building? You're going to believe anything anybody says and say that jumping off a building is a good thing to do? People lie on here. They want to play themselves up to look like they're bigger and badder than anybody else, and that they're very well secure with money and this and that and this and that. And why was he visiting Barry? Why did he give him a little sack of fruit when he could have brought a really nice meal? He don't have that money to spend. Why is he setting up his Filipino who's pregnant with his child? Why didn't he buy a condo to set her up? Because the relationship is not going to last. That's why. Because he's too interested in new pussy, his own words. What is the best pussy? He said that on... he don't want responsibility. He wants to go out and bend his elbow drinking. He wants to go to all these projects. He wants to be seen. He wants to be heard. He wants to be part of the party life because his life in California was partying. He was a stoner. He worked in the marijuana industry, in the dispensaries. Everything had to do with drugs. I don't know, besides marijuana, what he was into, but he looks like, he's a partier, man. He don't want to be stuck with one woman. Like he said himself, what's the best pussy? New pussy. And his own fucking... Oh, you're full of shit, set for life. I didn't want to even hear that. You're so full of shit. Why are you promoting this fucking criminal? Set for life. Yeah, right. And you'll believe me if I tell you I'm only 20. Would you? Okay, guys, I'll be right back. Don't sweat. I'll be right back. Sometimes there's things I got to leave the computer and do things occasionally. You know what I mean? I don't have to say what I have to do, whether I have to smoke, go to the bathroom, or confer something with my girlfriend. But every now and then, I don't like staying at the computer that long. I get kind of antsy. I get antsy. Okay. And then sometimes I need a few minute break or something in order to continue the show. See what I'm saying? Lots going to be happening the next few weeks. Oh my God. I won't discuss it. But anyway, okay. What am I missing here? No, it's not saying that somebody's doing well when to smoke. A lot of people, I'm saying, Mr. Adam, who made this comment, that there's a lot of people on here that so with envy. I'm living a better life than most people on here. So I got everything that I set forth to get, Mr. Adam. I got the house. I got an income that I could live on. Not extravagant, but like I always say, ducks in a row, Adam. I'm not worried about how much money somebody else has. Just that I know on here that a lot of people say that they got this and got that because they want to stand out in the crowd, when in fact they could be starving. I mean, they could be living on a very limited income. Maybe they sold their pot supply or something. They made some money from selling drugs and came out here and they're spending their fucking whatever it might be, whatever it might pertain to whoever it is. If it applies, it applies. If it doesn't apply, it doesn't apply. But you're not seeing beyond that, Mr. Envy. I don't envy anybody on here. There's not this community that I have actually any envy for at all. Okay, I can't think of one person. If I had to sit here and let me turn the fan on a minute here. Because people are basically so fucking full of shit on here. That's why they on here. I think I've been the most honest person on this goddamn that you'll ever find. Body on. What now, Adam? I know who that probably is. What happened? His statement disappeared. I hit a button on here, so I didn't even have a chance to read it. Beyond anything other, you just assume the worst in people. I'm not jealous, Adam. Only would I have to be jealous of buggers on here not living the life that you think they are. But you might be gullible to believe that. Making some very negative statements on here, so it's really time for you to go. Bye. Simple as that, right? I'm jealous. I think it's jealous of me. And why not? I'm happy with my partner. I don't have to run around with different women. I don't wake up lonely every morning. Fairly nice work. I don't have to pay rent. I got a little cash in the bank. I've got a monthly income. And Adam, I really don't. Oh, is Bruiser making bad statements? I don't know. But, as long as I'm happy, I mean, sometimes you see other YouTubers, isn't that what it really is? I'll tell you what, a lot of my viewers don't even live in the Philippines. I look at my statistics, and a lot of them don't even live here. Maybe they're not able to come here. They're not retired yet, or they haven't been successful when they did come here. They want to stay here, but maybe they can't afford to stay here. There's a lot of reasons that they're not here. But a lot of them are used, and it's a statement I always make all the time, that they're living their lives vicariously through people like myself. They wanted everything else, the ducks in the row thing. And I think that pisses some people off. Okay. So what am I doing wrong? Tell me, what am I doing wrong? I think it's the other, not one person that's a YouTuber or commenter or something I know about for. And why should I? I got what I wanted, right? So I'm happy about me. Why can't you be happy for me? You could live my life too. You just gotta play your cards right. Come out, find the right pull down bit. Stop that. Yeah, I can come to the Philippines, get all the wussy that I want. Yeah, but you wake up lonely every fucking morning. That's not living. But you see, a lot of guys, the reason they go from women to women is because of all the rejection they came from. Maybe they didn't do well with women. Maybe, women have, been scorned by women. Maybe they left him or whatever, or whatever the person may be. So you figure, I'm going to come to the Philippines, and I know I'm going to just screw it. You can't. Put how many notches on my belt? Oh, I'll get even with these women. I'm going to use and abuse them. Because I've been rejected all my life is what they're thinking. Okay? And a lot of them are like that. They had bad experiences with women where they came from. Or they weren't interested in, or they were rejected by women. You gotta watch, all of it. You gotta understand all the little intricate details. If it weren't hearsay, Brevis was on Jimbo's show after the babies were born. Maybe all that bar money he's spending in prostitutes and shit. Maybe he shouldn't be doing that. Well, look here. Let me tell you something about Brevis. He's probably listening to. I don't hate Brevis. I don't hate Brevis at all. I don't know him that well enough. I dislike what he's done with me, the stalking bit. I dislike that he makes bad concept lies. I dislike that he supports the trolls in regards to me. Okay, I dislike he is, he's got this pregnant, and he's out hanging in the go-go bars. I have the right to that. I don't approve of that. But then again, he doesn't need my approval. I'm seeing both sides of the coin. What he does, not at all. I say the same thing. You're right. Not one bit. But I'm just saying that I just think it's wrong. use protection or something. Rubbers. Don't impregnate more than one woman. But I'm going to call that hearsay because on my show, I'm not going to just fall for rumors. We know he impregnated one. Did he impregnate another? But you see, on my show, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to say that's what, but we don't know that's true. Jump on the guy for that. A lot of ways. I'll even support someone like Brius on something. If somebody's saying something about it, okay, and I happen to know it's not true, whether I like him or not. Just like the hearsay that he got. Nobody knows that for sure. Okay. One of them, I think Brevis probably over to visit Barry in the jail cell. Ricky did. Ricky, he'd come over there with a little bag of shitty little fruit or something. Okay. So much for his devotion to Barry and to his budget. Brevis want to make himself look like he's living the high life. Over here conquering all the Filipinos, getting laid left and right. Whether he is or not, I don't really know that either. How do I know he's been successful with lots of women out here? I don't even know that either. The impression. And maybe he does hang around these places that prostitutes hang around in. And he's had opportunity. I'm not going to say he did because that's not fair. But I will say that he does hang at these kind of places. I could say that. We know that. The show is not about Brevis, but since it was mentioned. But as I said, I don't hate Brevis. But I would tell you one thing. I do question his psychology. I do. And if he came over here trying to do the same as doing harm to my family, and I, bar none, to make sure that never again will it's at his hand. You got my guarantee on that. To anything that I've loved in my life, to anything that's dear to me, dear business, and I wouldn't wait. Because I'm not going to let anybody put fear in my heart. And that goes, I will take care of it. Again, whether it's by my hand or somebody else's hand or by the law, put that in your pipe and smoke it. For myself and those that are dear to me. That's just who I am. I'm not here to make my life miserable in the Philippines, okay? Quite the opposite. I don't like it. I don't like threats. I don't like anybody marring my and I take action. Proof of my action is a man named Barry wondering where his future is. And I know what his future is. He played with me too much. I didn't like his fucking. I didn't like him calling me a pedophile. And I didn't have girlfriend's children or rather messaging my girlfriend's children saying all this shit about me. Okay? A lot more things he did too. Where is he now? Did I mean business? There was nobody else that put him there. I put him there. I arranged for the agents when and where, the hour of the fucking day. That's right. It was planned. Once my operative, and I do have an operative, I actually do, found exactly where he verified that he was at his girlfriend. Verified. Any agents would go over there and arrest him. I knew the day. I knew the hour. And it happened. Got word from my lawyer. My lawyer even accompanies. He took his own vehicle, but and company took his own vehicle. And I was in touch with my lawyer the whole time. Did you get him? Did you get him? He writes me back. He's been arrested. And I'm like, finally, off his fucking face. It was one of my life out here in the Philippines. So he moved to Missouri. He moved to Missouri, not Cleveland. Optimist said that Brevis said it out of his own mouth and his own life. Okay, then maybe he did. Eh? Ken Unger says, Scooter on Messenger, where he is at, and invited him to stop by. I know exactly where he's living, Ricky. He's talking about? Yeah, I know exactly where he's living. Exactly. I don't know the apartment number, but I know exactly. Topole, what do you call it? Topolo, whatever. I know what he's near, and I know all that. Why do I know that? Rickshaw. Well, he was on his show. He said he was in Missouri. Where does Cleveland come in with this? He said he was in Missouri. And he sure is. No, you know what? He needed to be. I don't like listening to negative people like him in that respect. Out here, you're buying the wrong house, the wrong neighborhood, the wrong woman. And did you know that Rick Shaw years ago, and he told me, the liar that he is, that he was worth 14 mil, not pesos, $14 million. The bullshit story. Who could you believe on here? Dollars, he wouldn't be having that trouble moving out of the house he was living in, and it'd be a whole different story. Driving him around because he can't drive yet. A little. Wait. Rick Shaw's now in Ohio. He was in Missouri. Did that? I don't know. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't hate him either. I just think the guy bitches and whines too much, and he's so in the world. At one time, he overwhelmed. He had heart problems at one time, and he had. This guy will be a candidate. He's political things going. Word about chemtrails. Too worried about. I mean, he just too much on it, and he should just concentrate in the right place. All that, okay? He wouldn't be downing the Philippines so much. The road. Oh, guy, what is he? 6'8" or something? 6'8". Intelligent guy, though. See, I will say the good and the bad. But he wasn't intelligent enough to know what he did build. All the problems. The house is pretty. He's going to try to get. I think that's going to happen. And what is he going to be living on? He gets the Social Security, right? I mean, I don't know how much he makes. He can afford to live in America on his social. Supposedly, he don't have anything in the bank anymore. I mean, how is he going to live? Is his brother going to be supporting him? I think he's not happy no matter where he is, and I think that even America is going to get to him again. I mean, there's a reason he moved out of America to live in the Philippines, and he winds up going back to America. If he was bitching and whining in America about America and the politics, the presidency, and all that shit, and chemtrails and everything else, maybe he stayed in the Philippines, but perhaps lived it all over again. America. How is that possible? About him that I don't know. He was bitching and whining against that, but he told me he had 14 million. I'm not kidding you, for real. $1 million. He wouldn't even have 14 million pesos. See, people. By the way, how about a little thumbs up? Be nice. Thumbs up. Yeah. I mean, I kind of tell it like it is. I got nothing to hide. I don't know, but I'm pretty nothing to hide. That's why I feel guilty. Hide. What? Because I'm living okay? Better. But the way I'm living is fine. But it really works for me. 100 square feet. That's pretty good. I never had that in America. 1,500. I don't regret buying this house. I don't have to pay rent. Feel claustrophobic. Another reason. Size of the house. My partner of life, who's done a fantastic job of being my girlfriend, taking care of me in every way. And she deserves. She does a lot of work around here. She does predominantly most of the cooking and a lot of things around it, but I do help her out. She's not my caretaker. However, she does take good care of me. That needs to be rewarded. I wanted something for her future. I knew, even though the house is under my name legally, the land is hers, but at least on the structure itself, the way it was written up, it's my house too. Absolutely my house, but all gets relinquished to her upon my demise. Okay, but it was planned that way. Forced me to buy the house. Never asked me, why don't we buy a house? Like a lot of Philippines asked me that. She never pushed that issue on me. It's just that think. Never. Because I'm a simp. I'm not a simp at all in any respect. Because she never asked me for anything. And I'm not buying. I'm serious. She'd be happy living in a well-supplied type of native house, but she'd be happy living in that. but it looked like a pretty good product paint, and we did get. Damn. Oh man, allergies. So I did what I set out to do. Now that bothers people. It shouldn't bother anybody. I mean, they could do that with their get their shit. They could have the house and the great woman, and I'm very proud of the fact that I'm with an adult woman, gum chewing teeny. She's a mature woman. I can relate more to a mature woman than I can with a fucking 17-year-old. I don't go that way. I've never been with an underage woman. Most of them were in their 30s or mid 30s. My first sort of girlfriend out here was like 34, which is still a great difference in age. Like 18 years old or 14 years old. I don't go that way. I got to live with myself, I don't do that. And any woman, and there really wasn't that many that I got together with when I was visiting the Philippines. Not really at all. I mean, I met other women. Don't mean I more than 5 people. I've met more than 5 people out here, but not much more. But I never was intimate with all of them either. Okay, so that's just not who I am. Okay? I joked around about being a sex pad. That thing behind the tree, blah blah blah, just to shut people up and say, "Yeah, I'm whatever you think I am. Whatever you think I am, that's fine. Label me as this, label me as that." Even though I know it ain't true, but sometimes you just give in and say, "Yeah, okay, if that's what you think I am, just go with it." I've never been a sex pad out here. I never came out here for the reason of getting laid. It was not my reason. I was looking for a serious girlfriend. I wanted out of the United States. I wanted to settle down in another country, and I did. It was well, and got the old quacks in a row, and here I am today, modern day. The dialogue is kind of dying down, so I guess probably time to get off here. No, I don't hate Brevis. I hate Barry, but I don't hate Brevis, and I just say anybody else on here, it's kind of a strong word, really fucked you over somewhat bad or done really terrible to hate him, you know. And Barry's the only one that I actually hate. Again, hate is a strong word. Okay? There's people that I intensely dislike, but it doesn't mean I hate them. Until they do something, I hate them. And they don't want me to, they don't, trust me, they don't want to do that. If they do something to me, physically or otherwise, I will handle that situation. Call me, whatever, get it out of your system. I can still take care of business, ability with money, and I'm very coy. Do things quietly. Everything on here, trust me. I live, and I use that as my ace in the hole. If I needed to take action on something, legally or whatever, trust me, I'll do it. Proof of the pudding, Barry Lee Jordan in a jail cell. I'll end it with that. Okay? You could believe me, not believe me. Well, stay long enough to answer that question. If you have to really ask that question, really, come on. Because Barry is a hateful person, for one. Barry has done so much wrong to so many people. He has affected the lives in a negative way of many, many Filipinas. He has taken people back. He has lied to everyone. He labeled. You think that doesn't get out? Social media, punch in my name in Google. You see all the horrible shows about me. You think that Mike's to know in my life? Maybe didn't try to look me up, calling me else that said bad things. I decided to take the bull by the horns is what I decided to do, and that's why Barry is a loser. All his life, he's done nothing but wrong. He beat up his wife. He pushed it. The line that I talk about all the time, he went over that line. I hope I'm answering your question. Okay? I wish all guy, it ain't going to be enough where he's at right now. I want to see him do time in Big Catan. He's got against him besides the immigration. It's not going to be an easy trail for this guy. Hopefully he will learn something from this experience. I hope. He's not going to be able to come back in this country once he gets deported. He's thinking that he could. I don't think that's going to happen in light of several issues. I did knock the smirk off his face. I certainly did knock his fucking face. Regrets whatsoever. Ever. Have to. I just want to live my life out here in peace. Leave you alone, whoever you may be. That's it. And I continue to live my life. Not. You're going to in my life that it's just not going to happen. And people, don't hate me. Be happy for me that, I achieved what I wanted to achieve. There's nothing wrong with what I did. You're going to live out here, be happy. But I'm not going to life. Even if it causes stress, and turmoil in my life, to remedy that situation like I did, Hey, look, I don't play around. Look at Roberto. He's pissed off at me. Several instances I had the police come tell him how to stop the crap. Embarrassed the shit out of his family and him. That's why he's pissed at me. Okay? Touche is what I say on that, right? Okay? Yeah. There's a lot of things I have done on here that pissed people off because they were pissing me off. And I said, hey, I got to send out a clear message that this is not acceptable to me. Okay? I hope you're understanding me better, folks. I just want to be left alone. Let me live my dead. How old are you? Let me live how many years I got to live. Let me live it in peace. Thank you. I don't know how long I'm going to live. Short time? Long time? Going to make it in my 80s? I don't know. But the time I have out here, I want to be the best time. And I'm not going to accept any adversity. No. If you step too far out of line, I'm going to let you know you stepped too far out of line. And I'll do whatever it is I need to do to remedy the hands. I'll let the law do it. Okay? But if it gets up, deal with it. I will deal with it. With that being said, hey, have a good day.